They're just about ready to begin. I'd like to take this opportunity to have a couple of people stand. I know that Gary Frame, who wrote the music, is in the audience. And Greg Bowers, who wrote the words, is somewhere there. And I also would you please stand? Thank you very much. I also, no show is successful without the directors. And no show is good unless it's costumed. And we had some terrific directors. They worked very hard for this. And that is Tom Hewitt and Molly Mahoney. And the costume lady, I know many of you know, and she keeps us from going naked everywhere on the stage. It's a wonderful thing. Leslie, would you stand so we can say thank you to you? Well, guys, let the show begin.
The cowboy, and the large fine horses that started out in the Oregon Trail in the spring, but had to change into the rough breed of the prairie horse in order to survive the trip west.
Few animals are more admired or valued than the horse. Who here doesn't love watching a horse gallop across the field, or enjoy seeing a pony prancing playfully beside its rider? The bond between horse and human is strong.
Stolen, escaped, or abandoned, the horses brought by the Spaniards rapidly spread north to the plains, where people there created myths and stories to explain the apparent gifts of the gods. A native woman, Psychikio, Black Bear, told this story to Montana pioneers. One evening, a daughter of the chief saw a bright star and muttered, "If that star were a young man, I would marry him." Next day, a fine young man appeared to her on the trail and took her to his star world. Later, a glimpse of her village far below saddened the young bride. So her husband made a long rope of buffalo hides and gently lowered her back to her village. There, she bore a son, but later died, and an uncle cared for the boy. The people were sad for the boy. Up above, the great chief saw how destitute were the people down below. So he called to the boy, his grandson, and asked him to bring wet clay, which grew and moved. He then called a council of trees, birds, and animals.
I have made a horse for my grandson, to carry him and to help him with his burdens. Now will each of you give me of your wisdom, so that the horse may be perfect?
The pine tree contributed a tail, the fir tree a mane. The turtle offered hooves, the elk his great size. From the buffalo, wolf, and snake came hair, bridle, fur robe, and straps. Finally, the cottonwood fashioned a saddle. The boy then mounted the horse and rode back to his people. When the boy became a young man, he wanted to return to his father, the great chief in the sky. He told his uncle that before he left forever, he wanted to turn all the fish in the nearby lake into horses for his people. He then rode his own horse into the lake. When he did so, the water bubbled and issued hundreds of horses. Many were captured, but others escaped and formed wild herds. That is how the great chief in the sky brought horses to his people on earth.
I hadn't really thought much about the bond between horse and man before, but you're right. Some of us can't get enough of horses. Right. We watch them, read about them, and ride them if we're lucky. Maybe you ride them, but I'm a chicken. The closest I ever come to getting on a horse is riding the merry-go-round at the state fair.
Don't knock merry-go-round riders, Meg. Don't you remember how fun it was to climb on that horse and pretend you were really cool?
Sure, I always had my favorite horse when my folks took me to Oaks Park in Portland. If someone else was on my horse, I'd wait, and I wouldn't get on until I came out my horse.
And even now, when I hear the sound of calliope music, it feels like something magic is going to happen.
Something magic does happen. Have you ever heard the story of the miracle at Fancy Farms?
Oh yeah, I remember. It's the story of the general who became the lead horse at the new carousel at the Riverfront Park. But maybe then they will lead the magic of the carousel.
Great idea. But we need your help. We need someone to play Heather, your
horses and a pony are being cared for by a young girl named Heather. Heather, who loves horses, is a ninth grader in a nearby town. Her father brings her to the stables each day so that she can care for the horses stabled there in exchange for boarding her own horse, the General. Heather has just been dropped off by her father. The horses are all in their stalls awaiting her attention.
It's freezing outside. Sometimes I wish I could be as warm as you guys. Missed me today, did you, nature dance? Hey, Big Ben. At least you didn't have to stay up until 2 last night to write a paper. I know, Farlap. I shouldn't complain, but Miss Tangent is mean, like really mean. I think her face would crack apart if she ever tried to smile. Nice smile, Red Lightning. Maybe you need to come to school to give her a lesson. Ruffian, if I had your speed, I'd go out for track this spring. I'd set the safe record for sure, wouldn't I, Flyway? Oh, General, what would I do without you? You've always known I've had a bad day. How do you do it? You're a horse, and my dad didn't even notice. Want to hear about it? Jason asked Laura to the dance. Kylie said last week that Jason was going to ask me. Laura's pretty, but I thought Jason was starting to like me. Maybe if I had more time after school to watch the games with the other kids, then maybe he'd like you more. You rascal, you. You're jealous, aren't you? Don't you know, good friend, that I love you? You've always been special to me. Now get a life, beautiful lady, because no other horse is going to take your place in my heart.
A stable with beauty and grace.
Dr. Rogers, why do we have to lift up with peppermint twist sore foot? Don't I take care of the injury, right? That's what has bothered her for almost a year. That was a bad cut, Heather. See, horses are like people. They heal at different rates. Peppermint is really healing well. You've been more than faithful in taking care of her. I think she shows real progress. She's going to be fine, thanks to you. Looks to me like you're neglecting any of your friends. But what I really want to find out is, are you going to ride in the Big Valley Horse Show this weekend or not? Your friend Kylie said you might stay at home and go to the homecoming dance with Jason.
Oh, who wants to go to that old dance anyway? Besides, the general is in great form. Never better in my thinking. She and I will be Fantasy Farm's only entry, so we better be good.
Do I detect a bit of sour grapes here? You're exactly right, though. The general is in beautiful form. She has a great chance to take the show, especially with you on her back to take her through her paces.
Dr. Rogers, was there ever a time when you wanted to do something so bad that you would give up something that you've worked really hard for?
Sure. Probably every day of my life, honey. See, life's like that. One choice after another. It isn't difficult to choose between something good and something bad. The hardest choices of all are when you have to choose between two things that are both really good. I'd better get back to the office. I am the veterinarian on duty for the Valley Horse Show Saturday, so I'll see you there. You and the general will make a great showing. Good luck. Bye, Heather.
Featherbed Riding School, the only school in Oregon with down saddles. How can I help you?
Glad to hear you got your good humor back, Heather. Got time to talk?
Sure, what's up?
Guess what Susan just told me?
You mean you called me up to tell me what Susan said? Get real, Kylie. I have 3 pages of math to do and 10 pages to read for history. And you know I hate history.
I don't know why you worry so much about your grades, Heather. Besides, you got a 4-point last semester. Anyways, Susan told me that Jason is not going to the dance. Laura started the rumor because she wanted him to ask her. Can you believe that?
Sure, I would have tried that if I thought it would work.
No, you wouldn't have. Besides, you're more interested in horses than boys. Yeah, Mom, I just had to ask Heather about a math problem. Listen, Heather, I gotta go. My mom says if I don't keep my math grades up, she'll take away my cell phone and I would just die if she did that. Oh, by the way, good luck at the Valley Horse Show on Friday. My parents are gonna let me come watch you. See ya.
Bye, Kylie. I'm glad you're going to be there. Thanks.
Last call for performance class 33. The field is prepared and the officials have informed me the riders are in position for the class 3 round. There will be 8 riders in the fast-paced saddlebred Getty class. The riders will be judged on their brilliance and showmanship. Today's event requires the highest level of skill ability on the part of both horse and the rider. The riders compete not so much against each other, but against a standard of excellence that increases in difficulty as they progress through the various levels. The first round will be jumping. Strength and stamina are essential elements. The show jumper must be a trained athlete. The influence of the rider is of utmost consideration. And here's Heather and her beautiful horse, the General. They make quite a pair. And they're off! It's a beautiful day here in the valley, and I have to say, Heather and the General make a great team. They move into position for the jump, and over.
That's okay, girl. Just lie still. You are going to be all right. Dr. Rogers, how bad is she? How bad is the break? I don't know what happened. General has never shied away from a fence before, and I was giving her all the freedom she needed. Oh, please don't let it be a bad break.
You both were doing beautifully, honey. I don't think I've seen you ride better. Her leg is badly broken, Heather.
No! Please, Dr. Rogers, please say it can be fixed.
Heather, you can see the break is serious. I've never seen a worse break. There is no way the General can ever use this leg. I don't see how something like this could have happened, unless the bone was diseased. But we've not detected a bone disease. She's never favored this leg or anything, has she?
Never. Maybe she was too much of a champion to let me know she was hurting. Is she in a lot of pain?
I'm afraid so, Heather. If she continues to try to get up, she's going to be wild with pain.
No! I know what you're thinking. You can't put her down. Not General, not my horse.
Heather, the General is suffering terribly. She'll never be able to use that leg. Please listen to me. The General is going into shock, Heather. We don't want her to suffer more than she has to. The best thing we can do for her now is put her down. It would be painless for her. You've always understood horses so well, honey. Now's the time to really put yourself to the test. General cannot live. She wouldn't be able to walk or run. She wouldn't be any good to herself. Please try to understand. Sometimes it's cruel to let them live. But it is your choice.
Will it hurt her? I don't want her to hurt anymore.
The General will just go to sleep, honey. There will be no more pain for her. The pain is worse for you, Heather. For you and all of us who love this beautiful horse. I know it's a tough choice. Most choices in life are not this hard, and I'm so sorry you have to make such a difficult decision when you're so young. The General is your horse. You have cared for her, trained her, and loved her. Now it's the ultimate love choice. No one else can do this for you. I'm so sorry, Heather. I know this has hurt you much more than it hurt the General. If it were possible to take away your hurt, I would. You've done a real act of love for the General today. All your life, you'll have to do actions which show your great ability to care for others. When it's painful like this, and life will bring other times when you have to make painful decisions, try to look beyond the pain. Look for something good to come out of what happens.